Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. The state of Florida has proven yet again that it leads the nation in bombast and buffoonery. Here's the news.
The state of Florida plans to end all vaccine mandates for children. That's the message from Governor Ron DeSantis and the state's Surgeon General today. They say Florida will phase out all of the long-standing vaccine mandates put in place to protect children against diseases.
That's right. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and the state Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo have now declared war not just on science, but on the very concept of civilization itself. The Republican state leaders plan on eradicating all childhood vaccine requirements.
Among the vaccine mandates that could be erased, measles, chickenpox, polio, and hepatitis B. Medical experts are alarmed.
And we'll continue to accumulate more and more unvaccinated people living in Florida who are under age 5, who will over time become a walking time bomb in terms of a potential outbreak.
And so those ancient plagues we once defeated are now poised to make a triumphant return. And it's all in the name of what the Republican leaders and their gullible followers call freedom.
End all vaccine mandates in Florida law. All of them. All of them.
With a standing ovation, Florida Surgeon General Dr. Joseph Ladapo vowed to do away with vaccine mandates. This includes for children who needed to be vaccinated against diseases such as polio and measles to attend school.
Let me be clear. It takes a special kind of political depravity to look at the history of modern medicine, one of humankind's biggest triumphs, and decide that it's the enemy. But Florida Republicans, including Governor DeSantis and Surgeon General Ladapo, have managed to turn disease into a civil rights issue. In this Florida fantasyland, viruses are freedom fighters, bacteria are patriots, and public health is tyranny and drag. You gotta wonder what's next. Will hurricanes be hailed as expressions of meteorological liberty? This nonsense in Florida is a right-wing jihad. And it gets even worse with the Surgeon General, a man who seems to have acquired his medical credentials from an online seminar. With the wild-eyed conviction of a snake oil salesman, Ladapo linked childhood vaccines to slavery. Yes, he said vaccines, all of them, are slavery.
Every last one of them is wrong and drips with disdain and slavery. Okay? Who am I as a government or anyone else, or who am I as a man standing here now to tell you what you should put in your body?
If vaccines are slavery, then soap must be fascism. Seatbelts must be shackles, and antibiotics a war crime. The sheer lunacy of the comparison between vaccines and slavery should have sent Ladapo packing to a padded wing of the nearest insane asylum. Instead, in Florida, he gets a podium and Republican applause. Because in Florida, even analogies that are grotesque and profoundly ahistorical are welcome if they reflect right-wing conspiracy theories. This is not governance. This is theater for the terminally gullible, a calculated pander to the cranks and crackpots who think Dr. Anthony Fauci is the Antichrist and who think natural immunity is a plan, not a punchline. In place of evidence, we get vibes. In place of policy, we get paranoia. And steering this clown car is Governor Ron DeSantis himself, the Ivy League MAGA ventriloquist eager to burn science at the stake if it wins him a few more votes from the tinfoil hat MAGA crowd. The consequences, of course, will be paid not by the governor, nor by the MAGA maniacs cheering this madness from the bleachers of Facebook and social media. Eventually, the bill will come due in kindergarten classrooms and pediatric hospitals, where innocent children, too young to vote, too young to choose, will be left exposed to diseases their great-grandparents barely survived. It is child sacrifice by another name, performed not in the name of progress or necessity, but to appease a political cult addicted to grievance and allergic to reason. Meanwhile, across the United States, actual adults in California, Oregon, and Washington are forming a coalition to protect public health and uphold evidence-based vaccine policy. While Florida burns its medical textbooks for fuel, other states are choosing to light the way forward. One can only hope the virus respects state lines. In the meantime, do not mistake this Florida nuttiness for a mere lapse in judgment. This is intentional sabotage, the gleeful dismantling of the very systems that made mass death a relic of the past. It is idiocy elevated to doctrine, ignorance enshrined in law, and cowardice paraded as courage. Once upon a time, the state of Florida, the Sunshine State, was a symbol of vitality, of vigor, and family vacations. Now, the state has opted for chaos and for abandoning children to the whims of infection. Instead of creating memories with your kids in the Everglades or on Disney theme park rides, including Pirates of the Caribbean, just wait. Suffering through sepsis is coming.
The American Medical Association condemning the move, saying in a statement, this unprecedented rollback would undermine decades of public health progress. While there is still time, we urge Florida to reconsider this change to help prevent a rise of infectious disease outbreaks that put health and lives at risk. Measles cases have already risen nationwide to their highest level in 25 years, and the decision has medical experts ringing the alarm.
In the 1970s, there were school vaccine mandates across the country, but they weren't enforced. And then you had these major outbreaks of tens of thousands of people, children who had measles. And with those enforcement of school vaccine mandates, you ended those outbreaks.
Now, as the nation's top health agencies face a crisis of confidence, California, Oregon, and Washington are joining together to launch a new West Coast Health Alliance, quote, to ensure residents remain protected by science, not politics.
By the way, Donald Trump's apparent favorite to be the next chair of the Federal Reserve just publicly betrayed and humiliated Donald Trump.
I do see slower growth through the year, mainly because of the tariff impacts. I mean, tariffs are a tax. Taxes are never typically good for growth. So, you're going to get some slow growth out of this.
And Waller didn't stop there. He pointed out that workforce or labor demand under Trump is slowing down and has been hidden by low unemployment rates.
All the labor supply is doing is masking this declining, falling labor demand, which from a Fed's point of view is not a good thing. Our goal is not to say, hey, the unemployment rate is great while labor demand and job creation is falling. That's not what our objective is. It's maximum employment.
Just like that, Christopher Waller talked himself out of Trump's good graces simply by telling the truth. Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Mateo, who wrote, I am glad Mr. Waller told the truth. Finally, someone on the Trump team who tells the truth about tariffs. I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about MAGA Republicans in Florida who cannot handle scientific truths and are undercutting childhood vaccines. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.